Hello there and welcome back to Adie Craft. I'm starting out today in the Steampunk town area where last episode I built these fantastic workshops. Later on I'll be expanding the dock area with a brilliant new boathouse build which will also contain some very special things. But first, as you can see from my F3 screen here, I've now updated to 1.19 and that means there's lots of new things for me to get my hands on. Most importantly, I need to get hold of Swift Sneak, which means I need to raid an ancient city and hope that I don't have any nasty encounters with the warden on the way. But before all of that, I want to get myself some mangrove wood, which means finding a mangrove swamp. I also want some mud, some propagules and some tadpoles. So it's time to head out exploring. So having headed out due west, this is a direction I've not really been in, I've only needed to come about 1200-ish blocks and we have here a fantastic mangrove swamp. So this is actually quite a big swamp. In fact, it's absolutely huge. So this will give an awful lot of mangrove wood and I really won't feel too bad about deforesting it. So now I've got to find a nice place to set down, probably over by that village, and then start doing some chopping. After loads and loads of chopping and oh so much hoeing, I finally managed to get what I wanted, which was an entire shulker box of mangrove logs. And I've also got myself 2 shulker boxes full of mud, along with various other things as well. So these trees have so many leaves. There's quite a lot of wood in the big ones, but trying to get to that wood just means that you need a lot of hoeing to actually get there. So I've got a couple of leaves and then some various other things like the roots, some of the muddy roots, and just a little bit more wood here as well. But the next thing I need to consider is finding some frogs. I think there's one just down over there. Getting some of these bred and trying to catch myself some tadpoles that I can take with me, because I'm not going to grow them up here. I'm going to find a nice place that goes from hot to cold to moderate, and then just make myself a little farm I can AFK at where they can all grow up at some point. Not sure if I'm going to do that this episode or not, but I do need to take these slime balls that I've brought with me and go and start breeding some. So I've found some frogs now and I'm just waiting for them to actually lay some frog spawn. So let's get through here. If I use the right tool, that would help. So yeah, let's just find out where these guys are going to be laying their eggs, because I don't quite know where they're going. So one of these frogs has finally put down some frog spawn and now it's the waiting game for these to turn into some tadpoles. And there's some more over here as well. Fantastic. And after one night, we've got some tadpoles. So let me get some water and ta-da! There we go. Bucket. 1, 2, and 3 of these guys to start with. And hopefully these 2 sets of frog spawn here will hatch soon as well. And then I can get myself a decent number. There's still some frog spawn to turn into tadpoles over there, but I've been waiting for some time and I've managed to get myself an entire shulker box full of tadpoles, plus a bunch more, plus there seems to be a frog just hiding down there. But yeah, I think I have enough now. I mean, I've got like 30 something. That's, to be honest, more than enough. And I can breed some more up wherever I want now. So I'm going to take these back to the base. One other thing that I noticed around here is there's some really cool terrain. So you've got this bit here that you can sort of fly through and round and not kill yourself, obviously. But yeah, just this nice little archway that goes over the top of this jungle section. So yeah, there's some really cool stuff around this area. One other thing that I have done around here is set myself up another portal and connected this up to the roof of the Nether. So now when we come through, we can see that we are not far at all. I've used some clever arrows here to show where we are. And yeah, we're not far at all from what is going to be our Nether hub. The one other thing that I've done over here is I have added a second lot of chests. So half of these hoppers now feed down into this side. So when I was AFKing before, I was losing loads of resources. Now I can AFK for much longer and get as much gold as I want. Back in the storage building now, I have added in all of the mangrove wood. And if I take one of my little shortcuts down in between levels here, you can also see that I've added the other different things that we picked up at the Mangrove Swamp. So we've got the mud, the packed mud, I believe that is, and the mud bricks here. And I've been crafting up some of these because I'm going to be needing some of these later on. So yeah, it did mean that I needed to reorder things, which was a bit of a pain, but it's done now. I've also created myself in here 3 boxes of logs with just a good chunk of each of the different types of wood. So we've got 9 stacks for each of these that I can carry around in case I need them, and that will be the first stage in me organising my ender chest properly again. But next on the agenda, I need to get myself Swift Sneak, which means I need to find myself an ancient city. And there's one thing that is going to be essential for doing this, and that is over here. If we come back in to the wool farm, so I need to get some wool from here. I don't know what, let's use some pink. Let's see how much pink we've got. Plenty of pink. I'm going to take loads of this wool because obviously the wool stops the sound vibrations and will mean that I will be less likely to have any run-ins with the warden. I'm also going to make myself some speed potions just so I can get away if I need to. But yeah, I'm going to pack up a bunch of this wool and then start the exploration because I'm pretty sure that I'm going to have to go a long old way to find one of these ancient cities. In the spirit of a Minecrafter not getting distracted, I have gone and now connected up all of the things to the roof of the nether. So I've taken out all of the portals that were down beneath. And so this one takes us to the village. Over here, I've added one that takes us to the Guardian farm. There we've got our mangrove. Over this way, as we know, we've got our Wither Skeleton farm. And then round this corner, we have the 2 portals that take us to the Steampunk area. So one down to the storage and that one down to the super smelter. And just over in the distance there, I've added our one that takes us to the fortress, the stronghold rather, to get to the end. So everything is now connected up here, and this should make traveling back and forth significantly easier, even though this is in a little bit of an awkward position because it's directly behind where we've put our storage. But yeah, at some point I will be building another hub, but at the moment I've got to get back to the storage and finish picking up all the things that I'll need for this journey. So I've now prepared everything that I need to take me on an adventure to find myself an ancient city. Now I've got loads and loads of rockets in reserve, I've got lots of food, I've got loads of wool, I've got some potions of night vision and speed, and in case of emergency I've also got the stuff that I need to create a warden distractor. So if you put together a couple of observers, then you've got trapdoor flaps that'll interrupt them, but if you really want to drive it crazy, and probably yourself and any server mates, if you put this on a server as well, you can just stick a bell on the side, and that is just hideous. Let's get rid of that. That's enough of that. So what I'm probably going to do is take these, and I need to find myself a nice area that I have never loaded before and start exploring that. So the idea that I have is probably to take me into the nether, and whilst I'm here, to actually head over towards my Wither Skeleton farm, because that is a long way out. So if I head out this way, I'll get to my Wither Skeleton farm, I can activate the portal and see where that actually takes me in the overworld, and hopefully that'll be brand new terrain and I can start looking around for an ancient city or two. I've added a sign to the portal that's formed so I know which way it's going to be taking me. So this, if I ever find this portal, will be the Wither Skeleton farm. And this is the area that I've found here. So it's good, nice, new, fresh terrain that I've never been. Now to try and find myself some caves and see if I can actually get into an ancient city somewhere. I found myself a big hole a little bit north of where the portal came up, and this looks like it goes down quite a long way. So I'm thinking that this is probably a good place to start exploring. I've been making my way down into this hole, and I can see down here that there is some skulk going on and some quite active skulk sensors that seem to be setting each other off, which is not ideal. Also this rather interesting mine shaft, which looks pretty cool to be honest. So I think I'm on the right route given the amount of skulk that we have around here. And there we have it folks, the first ancient city. but it's still quite a long way away, and I need to work out how to get there past all of this skulk and without creepers and various nasty things dropping on my head. Yeah, not ideal, but I'm sure I'll find a way. And there's an awful lot of skeletons there as well, and just mobs in general. This is going to be fun. After a lot of jump scares from things shooting at me and dropping down from all over the place, and so much lighting up, that I actually had to go back to the surface to get more coal, because even though I brought like 2 stacks down here, it wasn't enough. I've managed to find a cave that comes through to a really nice opening that means that we can now bridge across to the ancient city itself. There doesn't seem to be any skulk sensors, or specifically the shriekers in this area, that would summon the warden. So I should be able to then set up a bit of a base, get prepared, and get everything that I need to search through this entire ancient city, which incidentally no mobs can spawn in here, which is great news, and get myself the swift sneak enchantment. Oh yes, other side is almost worth the trip here on its own. So we've got some Echo Shard and finally Swift Sneak 3. So I had Swift Sneak 1 that I'd picked up before, but now we have exactly what we're looking for. So anything else that we pick up now is just a bonus, and there is still an awful lot to look at. I am now back where I started, and as you can see from this crazy spaghetti of the wool, I've been around this so many times because I made the mistake of going around, killing off all of the shriekers and picking those up where I wanted to, and then going and doing the chests, but then I kept going back to chests that I'd looked at before, so I ended up having to put blocks above them. But yeah, it was done, and I had a good haul of stuff, but now I'm going to find my way back to the surface, find my way back to the portal, the nether portal to the Wither Skeleton Farm, and get back to my base. And when I am back there, I will show you all of the good stuff that I did get in the end. After a long old journey, I am back home, and I'm super glad to be here. And these are the awesome things that I managed to get hold of. A whole bunch of decorative blocks, including the sensors, shriekers and catalysts that I picked up whilst I was clearing out the place. Some echo shards and some disc fragments. I've already crafted the disc off the back of these, so I did have 9 more. And then some other bits and pieces that I picked up here. And then in this box, all of the Swift Sneaks. So I've got 2 Swift Sneak 3 in the end. 2 2s, which will combine to make a 3rd one, and then just a couple of 1s. 2 enchanted golden apples that were actually in the same chest, weirdly, but that's the first 2 enchanted golden apples that I've got, which means that I can probably use one to craft the banner pattern, in fact. And then 4 copies of Other Side. So best song in my view in Minecraft, and I've now got it 4 times, and then some other music discs. So this is the one that I crafted up, and then multiple copies of 13 and Cat, and then lots and lots of hoes as well. So I don't think I will ever need another hoe, particularly this one, which is literally exactly the same as the hoe that I took with me there. So I'm going to put all of these things away now, and then I am going to start flattening the area for our build. Now it's time to get much more sneaky. Wow, that's so much faster. The next area is now cleared, ready for the build. And yeah, the only thing that I need to do here is move this beacon. I don't know where I'm going to put it yet, but I'll work somewhere out. And I've got loads more resources to go back into the storage system as well, because I had to shorten this extra height bit, and I'm going to be extending the dock out across here. But that's enough landscaping for now. In the meantime, whilst I've been putting this video together, IanXO4 has done it again with a brand new farm, which is an automated tree farm. And yeah, I have spent a lot of time chopping wood, So I am very, very keen to get a much more automated way, and I'm going to head back over to the village area, pick out a spot and start building. This thing is now complete and it's working perfectly. So I absolutely love this. You just step up towards the chain here in the middle, aim at this block with the saplings in your hand and the bone meal, and then you just hold down the mouse button just like that. And if you press F3 and T and take your hand off the mouse, it'll just repeat the actions that you were doing, and this will then just keep going. And the thing is, because it drops the saplings, those get fed up into your inventory as you're going as well, and the bone meal is just coming through from the side. So this, as you can see, is just brilliant. And then just to get out of this mode, I'll just hit the escape button, back to the game and switch this off, like so. And yeah, that will then just clear out anything that's still there and be ready to go in a second. One will blow up there, and that shows you that it's finished. I've added this optional extra bit as well to feed me through the bone meal, so I can just stock this up on bone meal and go to my heart's content. And that has just been pumping out the logs, and birch is not a nice type of log to get hold of anyway, so this is amazing. Definitely check it out if you need a tree farm. I'll put the link in the description as always. And just like that, less than 10 minutes later, I've got nearly 10 stacks of birch and a bunch of warp stem with some shroom lights as a bonus as well. So this thing is crazy and I'm super pleased with it. I'm back over at the steampunk area now, and I've moved the beacons ready to go, and also spent an absolute age collecting all of the resources that I'm going to need for this next build. So now it's time-lapse time. And the boathouse and decoration is now complete, with loads and loads of new things around this, including bringing in the mangrove wood, because this is just such a lovely texture here, and some on the bottom of the boat. And that's one of my favourite things as well, these little grindstones as the wheels, so you can imagine it being pushed up and down this slipway back into the dock. And also my favourite thing is probably these doors on the angle. I absolutely love how these have come out, just so that this could be closed up in the night. And if we go inside, where it'll be safe from the darkness, we can come up here and see some of the decorations. And we've got the boat here, first of all, with this big machine. And then we've got the steering wheel here. Obviously, you'd need some help because, I mean, you can't actually see off the boat, but don't tell anybody about that. Come up here, and there's also a little interior on this boat as well. So if you come down here, the machine is here being powered by the turtle legs again. There's a little bed down here, which I'm actually going to sleep in. And it just pops you back out on the deck here, so that's good. We've got a little office area here, but this, like all of the other buildings, is functional. And these three things are what gives this building its main function. So what we have over here is a clay farm, so we can take our mud, and using the dripstone it will suck the water out. And then once that's all been sucked out, then you've got your clay blocks as a renewable source. In order to create the clay blocks themselves, I've got this El Mango machine, and with its special shovel here, if we grab some dirt from just down here, put that in our offhand and come and stand here and go like this, we can just create some mud. The timings aren't quite right on it. It seems to be pumping out quite a lot of bottles, and sometimes it misses the mud, so I'll have to look into that, but it does the trick. It does give quite a good amount of mud there, and you just can pick up the dirt that's left over from there and restock. It also gives you a few bottles. I don't know quite why those are coming out, but I can just reuse those, of course. The last thing in here is this farm, which is a micro wheat farm. So if I grab some of the seeds and put those in my hand just like so, we can start this machine, and then as soon as we get the right place, there we go, just this micro farm using quite a bit of bone meal, but we'll pump out the wheat and the seeds. And it's just, yeah, a great way for us to get the wheat that we'll need to create the mud blocks, which I've also used on the corners here. So overall, I'm super pleased with how this has all turned out. I hope you are too. If you like it, let me know in the comments. If you've got any ideas of what other things that you'd like to see in this steampunk area, also let me know. All that's left to be said is thank you very, very much for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future episodes, and I'll see you all next time on Adie Craft.